He wasn't there to play nice. He was there to win. Conflict is the price of admission for excellence. So as we think about some key takeaways for practical leadership, check the exhaust, identify one loud area in your business or your family. Is it producing power, progress, or is it just heat causing stress?
Sneakers, cars, leadership. Sneakers, cars, leadership. Atlanta. Built different. Legacy moves. A podcast that goes into the essential leadership skills needed to excel in both personal and professional life. Hosted by me, Drae Hubb. This podcast offers insightful conversations on how to be an impactful leader of self and others through influence. We will draw from diverse experience and backgrounds to provide practical advice and engage in discussions on a wide range of topics. Sneakers, Cars, and Leadership promises to be an engaging and informative podcast that equips listeners with the tools and insights needed to lead effectively in all areas of life.
Welcome back to Sneakers, Cars, and Leadership. I'm your host, Drae Hubb, and I'm glad you're back in the garage with me. So this is the podcast where we talk about the hustle of the streets, the precision of the engine, and the strategy of the boardroom. We look at leadership not as a title, but as an ecosystem, a living, breathing machine that needs the right parts, the right fuel, and the right crew to win the race. So whether you're rocking dead stock, tuning a twin turbo, you know that details matter. So today, we're diving into one of the 8 essentials of your leadership ecosystem. So as we start every episode, we got to talk about kicks, shoes, we got to talk about rides. And so today, I'm going to pull out the Columbia Blue 11s. Man, these shoes are sweet. These were dropped in 1996, and they were a departure. Everyone was used to the Breds and the Concords, the black and the white and the reds. Then comes this icy, bold blue, and it broke the mold. It was a disruptor. So in leadership, that disruption is called conflict. Most people avoid it because it's loud, but just like that patent leather conflict provides the grip for your team. Without friction, you have no traction. And if everyone is always agreeing, no one is actually thinking. So as we dive into just the constructive catalyst for today, function versus dysfunctional conflict, that's where we're going to go. Now, before we get in, we're going to talk about the ride. So wow, think about that Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. That 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi is an explosion contained in the block. That's a conflict. Functional conflict is like a high-performance exhaust. It's loud, it's intense, but it's moving the air out so the engine can breathe. Dysfunctional conflict is a misfire. It's an internal friction that breaks the pistons. So as a leader, your job isn't to stop the noise, it's to tune the engine so the noise produces power. So as we think about leading yourself, do you shy away from hard truths in the mirror? Self-leadership requires internal friction, challenging your own habits before you challenge your teams. Now, let's talk about leading others. Now, how do you handle the Hellcat in the office? The high performer who's loud and disruptive. Do you muffle them or do you give them the right exhaust to channel that energy? The precision of timing. You don't floor the Hellcat in a school zone, knowing that it's powerful. So you got to know when to lean into conflict. It's just as important as knowing it and knowing how. So let's deep dive into handling some misfires. So people think conflict is a sign of bad culture. I challenge that. I argue that. I argue that it's a lack of conflict is the sign of a stagnant culture. If your team isn't debating the strategy, they're checked out. They're just cruising along. You don't want a team that cares and don't care. You want a team that cares enough to clash. So just like the 96 All-Star game with MJ debuted these 11s, he wasn't there to play nice. He was there to win. Conflict is the price of admission for excellence. So as we think about some key takeaways for practical leadership, check the exhaust, identify one loud area in your business or your family. Is it producing power, progress, or is it just heat causing stress? So like the Columbia Blue, I love these shoes, man. I love these shoes. Don't be afraid to be cool. Keep that calm, collective voice that introduces a disruptive idea to break groupthink. So, as we think about traction over comfort, choose the friction that gives you the grip. If a conversation feels uncomfortable, it's usually because it's necessary for the next level of growth. All right? So, my charge to you today is don't walk away from the next disagreement. Walk into it. Use the friction to find the grip. If you're not feeling the heat, you're probably sitting still. So, drive hard, keep your kits clean, and I'll see you at the next light. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to Sneakers, Cars, and Leadership today. And we're talking about just that constructive catalyst, which is the whole conflict versus destructive conflict. So lean in, don't pull out, and get out there and grow. I'll see you next time.
Sneakers, car leadership. Sneakers, car